And we are live. Let me just go ahead and get this up on Twitter so everybody can join in, especially at the first time, folks. But hope everybody's doing great. Had an awesome trading day today. Lots of opportunities. Wish I could have jumped on a few of them, but we had a bunch of snow up here, and so yeah, I got a little distracted by that. But it doesn't mean there's not going to be like a ton of stuff to do tomorrow. So tomorrow's Friday, and normally Friday is a pretty boring day, at least in 2017. But in 2018, it's been pretty awesome. And the last, almost every Friday has had like a ton of action in it, right? I mean, especially like with this transition into the, into this bear market. We've had, from here, right? Back in February, and coming all the way back up, and then giving us what, a double top. And then coming all the way back down here, right, in October, down again, now up. And so it's just been just giving a lot of really interesting stuff. And Fridays have been very, very fun. And so what we've all been waiting for today was NVIDIA, right? So, NVIDIA, it was like we kind of talked about, I kind of tweeted it out. I was like, well, it's either going to fill this gap up here, right, and maybe go all the way up to like, 240, 260. Or it's going to gap down and miss. And if it misses, it's going to miss pretty hard. You got your next pivot, was basically right. Actually, this was where it was, here. So it kind of is gapping in this area here. So we kind of have this area to deal with. And I don't know. We'll see how it trades tomorrow. I mean, this is probably one, I think a 15-minute orb would be the most appropriate on. See if it's got some more downside movement. If you're super brave and feeling advanced, you could try a reversal on it. But I don't recommend that, right? It's easier just to go in the way of the gap. There's going to be other stuff too. So I just kind of wanted to go over that. But real quick, let's touch on, some of the game plan items from today. We had Walmart, right, with earnings. Gosh, I didn't get to watch any of this stuff like I wanted to. I thought Walmart had pretty good earnings. And then, yeah, this is a reversal play for sure. But, I mean, here you go. Here's your first 15-minute bar, right? I mean, total indecision with everything, right? And then when it finally broke to the downside, you'd had it been what opened, kind of came down, came back up again. So even if you scalped that for a few cents, you'd had it been brave and just held that. It was a tough trade. I mean, but again, this would be a reversal, right? Because it was kind of going up. So that's why it's kind of risky to do these. But you could see, kind of held. If your stop was way up there, you'd have been good. And eventually would have fallen. 2.5 points, something like that, or 1.5. So, but that was one of them. So, good. Yeah, that would have been reversal. So it didn't really trigger the upside, so you don't really have to worry about it. But you could have done it to the downside. What else? We had Cisco. So that was an interesting one, right? So 15-minute orb. Again, reversed right off of that. To the downside. Again, I always recommend trading in the direction of it. So this one technically never triggered, right? But if you're brave, you could try a reversal one on that. I think Oracle had a good one too. So let's take an Oracle. Yeah, look at this. Oracle did both ways, right? So you had your 15-minute orb here. It was basically a reversal down. Did it fill? I mean, pretty much filled the gap. All right, let me look on the daily. Goodness, what have I done? All right, let's see. Clear drawing sets. Okay, so Oracle, let's see if it filled the gap. This is why it helps to have to trade from a computer instead of at home. Yeah, I mean, gap filled, right? So it was down here, up here. I mean, so it's total continuity there in price. And let's see, 15-minute orb on Oracle. I mean, on Oracle, yeah, 60 cents to the downside. Then if you just waited, right, all day. Right, patient. You saw the market was going way up, and I think I even tweeted this one out. I was like, Oracle 15-minute orb to the upside. You had to wait until about 1:15, right? And then so it was 20. So you get another 40 cents to the upside. So if you've traded Oracle before, you're not going to get like a $2 move or something like that. But so you just size accordingly because it's not super expensive, and you could have made money either way. Of course, again, like I said, don't recommend the reversal plays, but if you waited all day, you could have still made a quick, not a quick, but you could have made a good 40, 50 cents at the end of the day. What else? NTAP. I didn't even look at this one today. Okay, gap down, right? There we go. This is what we like. We let gap and go. So in the direction of the trend, and look what happened here. You went inside 15, right? And we know how explosive those can be. So, so it went down. So never triggered here, went inside, came back up, and you've still been super safe, right? Kind of took it to the upside, barely went, touched the VWAP, came back in. If you trade even like right here, right? So this is 68.34, right? You get your $1 right there off of NTAP today. That would have been a nice trade. So that's why I like it, just nice in the direction of in the gap, right? You don't have to worry about all the crazy nonsense of reversing and going back up and all that stuff. In Oracle, you'd have been fine too, going to the upside. So, I'm sorry, NTAP was for, no, that's right, NTAP was today. So that's basically, those gappers. I didn't check too much out, on the other ones. Lots of reversal stuff going on today. It's been a super tricky week, and that's why, I say, like, don't get involved in too much of the reversal stuff. Just focus on one game plan, that way. And then hourlies. It's been really tough for me to check the hourlies. I've just been super busy at work, and so kind of tough to do that. But tomorrow I am at home, so I should be able to check these out. And these are always great, right? Here's inside 60 under the VWAP for NTAP. So you could have tapped it again for a little bit more, right? So that's 68.99 all the way down to 68.26. So 70 cents more on that. So you could have traded the open for a point, then traded it again inside 60 down for another. So you could have almost made 2 points just trading NTAP today, right? And yeah, and so tomorrow, is NVIDIA. So that's going to be a big one. So I think, you could trade NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a little wild, but a lot of the NASDAQ is, pretty much gapping down in sympathy, right? But particularly you go to the other chip makers, and you've got AMD, and AMD is down. So this will be very interesting to see how it trades tomorrow. AMD's got, I don't think it quite went inside 60 over the VWAP, but I will look at AMD tomorrow for a, probably look at the 15-minute ORB or something like that on AMD tomorrow, or watch the 60s on it. Yeah, so that's kind of some action tomorrow. I just put a couple charts up real quick for tomorrow. I've got Williams-Sonoma. I think you guys know I've been just stocking this one. This got like tons of Fibonacci's and all that, so I've just been stocking this one, as a power earnings gapper from last earnings season, and gapped up. Gapped up, just kind of watching them. It's kind of just falling wedge. I mean, look at this falling wedge. I mean, it's taking forever. And we talked about it the other day. Kind of broke to the downside, then broke to the upside, and now earnings. We're like, okay, so what's this thing going to do? And it is right now at about 52. 52.50, so it's gapping down underneath this, kind of bottom wedge area. But what I think is really interesting is there's a gap back here, right? So you got to look at that stuff. I mean, that's, don't just, as you get more experience trading, you start to look a little beyond, right, just what's going on right now. So you start to look at, kind of the bigger picture, and that's why what I do on Twitter, I put the monthly up to see, kind of what monthly trends are, like the weekly, right? You've seen, how these weekly signals can really, be quite powerful, especially for swing trades. And then, you look at here on these gappers, and I actually discovered this last earnings season with Walmart, and it just amazes me how these gaps, get filled and they're magnetized to them. It's like, you don't want to, like here, right, when it gapped up, you don't want to like short it because you think it's going to fill the gap, right? So you just got to wait till it gets there, right? And it could take, and this took, quite a while, like 3 quarters, whatever, for it to get basically back to the point where it was filling the gap, right? So you don't want to hold this short all the way through this nonsense, right? So because especially when you're way up here, you're like, oh man, I'm doomed after that earnings gap. So anyway, so we're back down here. So my guess, if we're at 52.50, just say like right here, right, it's going to be magnetized to fill that gap. So this, I think, Williams-Sonoma is going to be a perfect candidate tomorrow for the 15 orb continuation trade. Especially if we've got, red market and all that stuff. I mean, just what a perfect one to short. So I might even look at doing a 5-minute bar on it tomorrow too. So again, that 5-minute bar is much higher risk, right? So I don't recommend it. You'll be just as fine with the 15, right? But it's just one if you're, if you're looking for quick trades or something like that, you can do that. But just remember, you could get stopped out quicker too. So you've seen the 15-minute bars, how big they are, right? The 5-minute bars are going to be smaller if it stops you out, That's why I don't recommend it. But anyway, I might take a look at it just for fun. But yeah, I think Williams-Sonoma is going to be a nice gap and go tomorrow on the 15-minute orb. So that's pretty much it. I think I mentioned, Papa John's, little Papa. It's kind of an interesting bar today. Obviously we had a lot of rally stuff, but this thing had a huge green bar today on some volume. And apparently, I checked the news just real quick. It said nothing really. Apparently, whatever T. Rowe Price had a passive stake in it, but it says here Papa John's shares spike over 56.50 on major uptick in volume, seeing notable bullish call action. So somebody knows something, right? So I know they've been trying to go private, or they've been trying to find a buyer, or whatever the case is, or more support and all that stuff. So maybe something's going on, and we'll find out tomorrow, or the next couple days, if Papa John's is ready to make a deal with somebody else, and or if someone's thinking about buying them. I'd love to see. Wouldn't it be awesome to be in it, and just launch to like 70 or something like that. So that's pretty much it. And we got 2 inside days for tomorrow. That should be pretty interesting. We've got Apple and Netflix. So tomorrow's gonna be an awesome day. So awesome trading day. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to review this evening. At this point, if anybody, has any chart requests or questions or anything like that, feel free to post them in the chat window. We'll pull up some charts and take a look at them together. And kind of go over that stuff, which is always fun to do. Let me turn this news thing off. Yes, that's my big, pretty much the game plan tomorrow. Watch what NVIDIA does, see if AMD, kind of trades in sympathy or synchrony with it. Because AMD is going to be easier to trade than NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is really jumpy, but AMD, if you can get it, you can catch a good trade on it. There's probably a couple, if we don't have any questions. Yellow, what's going on? 24%. Hey, man. It's 24%, man. You're crushing it. That's awesome. Good job, man. Yeah, Cisco, dude, yeah, you're doing great, man. Let me see. Yeah, tomorrow also to the upside, there's a couple that I'm going to add to the game plan. Dillard's is another one. I just want to let you know on Dillard's. I've tried to trade this before. It gets actually really spready. You wouldn't think it would, but it gapped down today. Pretty high, right? So, that's another one to look at on the 30s tomorrow. Didn't really notice it there. But hold on a sec. And then I think I saw another one, Sonos. I don't know if they did one today. Oh, I forgot the theme of today too, is talk about Google, so I'll get to that in a second. Sono was 14 and now 17. So yeah, so these guys, have you guys seen these guys? I was in Best Buy the other day, and they make, they've got speakers and stuff. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, IPO, pretty recent IPO. Gosh, was that long ago? God, time flies so fast. Yeah, so I had an IPO, and I want to show you real quick. Yeah, nice. So it gapped up. 17 area. There's a big gap here to fill. So this will be interesting too. Yeah, so this is a good gap and go one too to the upside. So keep an eye on Sono. That's going to be on the game plan for tomorrow. But this is one I kind of want to show you real quick. Then I'll talk about Google. And then if you have chart requests, just post them and I'll pull it up. But yeah, so Sono was an IPO, right? And so this is a classic example of that day. The orbs, right? You can trade these on IPOs. And I don't know if you've seen, but if you go to fly.com, which I follow them on Twitter because they got lots of good. They're not the quickest at posting stuff to Twitter, but they've got really good stuff. But let me show you. If you go to their syndicate page, I'll post it here in the chat window. Especially if you guys are at home, or trading full time during the day. It's hard to do it if you're at work. But if you go, the support chat, and I've talked about this before, if you go to support chat and you go chat rooms and you go to Benzinga Squawk, you get basically Benzinga Pro free through Thinkorswim, and then you just click, your listen tab. Just make sure listen is on, and it'll be quiet most of the day. But he just, Charlie, like he'll call out. Let's see who's there today. I was at work today, but a couple guys there. But Charlie's usually there. These guys, man, they call out, stuff when it happens. So they don't just call it nonsense, right? You can't trade everything, but I know that probably didn't pull up for you, but yeah, you just go to chat and you go to Business Lingo Squawk. But anyway, that's a great way to get news as it's coming out, and you can evaluate it and see if it's good. One day we'll do a whole lesson on trading the news and what's good and what's not. But I'm going to put this here in the chat box. If you go to Syndicate, so this is the Fly.com Syndicate, and what it is if you it's got a list basically of IPOs that are looking at coming out, like that week, or secondary offerings. I know there's got to be a way to trade secondaries. I just haven't quite mastered it yet, and I really don't have time. But there's something to that. And usually it's a short, to go to whatever price they're doing the secondary. They're tough to catch. But when you go to IPOs, you look for names that look pretty good or interesting. And anyway, Sono was pretty big when it came out. And so this is a good day to trade a 15-minute orb. IPOs are perfect for those. And you don't want to do 5 minutes on it because these things are wild if you've ever traded. Look how big that bar is. So that 15-minute bar, you let that open, and it goes down, it goes up, and all that stuff. And then you just buy long, just like anything else, over the 15-minute bar, and you get like you could get a really sweet move on a good IPO. If it's a stinky IPO, nothing's going to happen, right? This is going to go down. People, the guys who own it are going to, but you can tell a good IPO. Like Sono was hyped, right? I mean, it was like, a big deal. And so that was a good one to trade that day. So anyway, but this one will be interesting. You can see it's gapping up to about 17.14. It looks like there's a gap at 18.20. So if we're opening right here, right? And I don't know, there might not be a lot of people watching this. This one might just gap and go real well because you've got a gap to fill at 19. So we could potentially make 2 points on this one tomorrow, off of the 15-minute ORB. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on tomorrow. So, oh yeah, and then finally, chart request, go ahead, type in a ticker and I'll look at it. But I wanted to go back to Google and just kind of take a look at what we got going on here. So it's gapping down a little bit after hours. Yeah, it's only down like 2 points. So obviously yesterday, right, we had the double inside day, or today we had the double inside day of the deal. Yesterday was double, so we were just trading it today, right? So just to kind of review the double inside day, right? And I'm talking about inside. I'm not talking about both contained within a mother bar. I'm talking about this one went inside like a Russian babushka doll, right? Inside and then inside, right? It just gives it more contraction to go to expansion, right? And so there are 4 methods of trading. You gap up, you trade to the inside. You gap down, you trade it back to the inside. Or you open in the inside range, you trade it long over the VWAP with a short at the low of the day, or you trade it short under the VWAP with a stop at the high of the day. And so Google actually worked both ways today, right? We opened, right? We had here, it went to like 1059, that's your stop, right? And then it was a short under the VWAP right here. So, I mean, you know how to like gauge your risk and all. You don't want risk $9,000 on a Google. But say you risk, you do an option, whatever the case is, and you're short under the VWAP, and so this went 50 all the way down to 41. So a good 10-point move to the downside, and then failed to take out that inside day bottom, right? And that is almost a signal to buy. You could almost buy right there when you know it didn't push through it. Or you just give it time, it gets back to the VWAP, and then you go long here with a stop at the low of the day. So you sell your, you sell your puts here, and then as it does this, right, and gets over the VWAP, you buy your calls there, and then your first target is the yesterday's high of the day, and then so that, boom, nailed that, right? And then it just kept going, right? And so we did yesterday, we talked about Andrew's pitchfork, and so I want to show you what happened. So yesterday we had, let me show you, let me remove these. Clear drawing set. And so this is what we look for here. Right, this is what we did yesterday. Boom, boom. Take a pivot, and then you put the other sides of the pitchfork on 2 other pivots, right? And this is really awesome, right? So if we knew that there was a pivot here last time, we could have traded this all the way down to the median line. And then once it gets to the median line and puts in a pivot, it's a long, right? And so it took a bit, but reached here, right? And so here, my theory is if the market's weak, this is a good shorting location, right? to come in, but the market wasn't weak today, so I couldn't really put on a short, right? Now tomorrow with NVIDIA down and the futures down, this thing could actually get back in this range. And I was like, and I even talked about yesterday on the video, that, you know, this thing could overshoot and then come back in, and that's kind of what it's doing, right? And then so, you know, you look for, the other thing you do is you draw trigger lines. And trigger lines are also momentum break areas. This is just the pitchfork. You go here, you go here. And so if it were to come up and break here, that would be super strong, right? And it makes sense, right? This is resistance, right? This is like a, you know, horizontal resistance. So if it did break that, you've got a horizontal resistance break to the upside, right? So it all kind of makes it all ties together, right? Then I was looking at this and I was like, well, what if I drew a pitchfork from here to these pivots? And watch what happens and blow your mind. Boom and boom. Look what happened. So now, if I remove this guy, if I remove that one, remove drawing. Okay, look at that. Remove drawing. Hold on. Remove drawing. Okay. Now look at that. That looks a little bit different, doesn't it? We are on an inside, if I can see that right. I think it was an inside 60 to close. Now obviously we're down after hours. So it may, if we're down here at like 66, amazing, low was, no, the low was 62, we're still in this range. So this inside 60 here, we've got a pivot hitting this resistance area. So if it breaks tomorrow, if it breaks 1062.22, if it breaks 1062, right? I think we see some downside back here, back down to like 1030 area, something like that. So that'll be this. Google is definitely on my watch list for tomorrow. And I just thought that was interesting as I drew the new pivot on it, how, you know, how this kind of setup looked a little bit clearer, you know, and it was a little bit more kind of slanted in the right direction, right? Gave it a little, the slope was a little bit lower, which kind of gives you a little bit more, maybe a little bit more confidence in it. But I think it looks pretty good. So I'm definitely, if the market comes in tomorrow, you know, and, you know, everything's puking, Google's definitely like a shot at that 1035, 1030 area. So I feel pretty good about that. What's up, Liam? How's it going? Welcome. If you have any chart requests or whatever, go ahead and you can put them in the chat window, and I'll pull those up for you. You know, otherwise, you know, if you guys have any questions about trading ideas or something like that, go for it. Otherwise, I think tomorrow's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm gonna post the game plan in a little bit. I think we've got some good focus stocks to look at tomorrow, plenty to keep us busy, and that's fun, right? It's fun being able to watch a couple different things. That's why it's cool to have like a, you know, multiple monitors. One day I'll get a bunch and you know, do that. Carl, what's going on? Yeah, Apple inside day definitely on the watch list. I didn't get any. There's some double inside days out there, but none that I would trade. Yeah, Apple inside day, that's definitely on the watch list for tomorrow too. So, and I can pull up Apple real quick. Let's see. I want to do a pitchfork on. Gosh, this thing, I think I mentioned, this thing's trading like an ADR. I mean, it's just bounce. Look at that gap here, gap here, gap here. And now it's at 1090 after hours, so it's like here somewhere, yeah, inside. And I think it was an inside, was it inside 60 high? 92, no, not quite inside 60, but still, yeah. Let me see if there's any sort of, the pivots are really tough on this one. I know it's crazy, call me crazy, but this actually looks pretty interesting here. Let's see what that looks like. That's interesting, isn't it? It's almost vertical, I mean horizontal. Let's see what that does. Let's see what Apple does tomorrow. Look, I mean, if you think about it, right, just put in a pivot here, right? Why wouldn't it at least try to test this one to look at tomorrow night? Let's see, I started putting the days on here too. I just like these bars. I like candlesticks, but I like these too. These are fun just to do. Yeah, I mean, if it breaks that inside day to the upside, I mean, why not, right? If it breaks down, I mean, we just got more downside, right? I mean, you could go to this pivot right here, and look at that. There's a nice gap right down here too in the 170s. So tomorrow's gonna be crucial for Apple on this inside day. So thanks for bringing that up, Carl. You know, there's a gap here, break to the upside, could hit that median line, break to the downside, you know, certainly good fill here. Let me throw up a stochastic here real quick just to see what it's looking like. I can't remember if they recommend the book I read said stochastic. Let's just go. Let's go full stochastic. Pretty interesting. Yeah, so just looking at this, let me put a slope there to see what it looks like. So, yeah, they look exactly the same. All right. Edit settings. Just get you that 198 area. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow. And then 190, if it, where was the gap? Where was the low of the gap? I'm sorry, the low of the inside day. Today's low. Low of today was 186. Yeah, so we're nowhere close to that. Yeah, so this is going to be a really interesting one to watch for tomorrow. And it's Apple. So, nice one on that, Carl. Well, good stuff. I appreciate you know, all the new listeners and stuff today. I'm going to post the game plan in a little bit. I think there's a lot of great ideas for tomorrow, and oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, you just got to go. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You just have to use those pivots and see what you come up with. I've got another one too on TradingView that looks a little bit different. Absolutely, man. Yeah, we got to, yeah, exactly. That's the key. The key is to watch price, right? All this stuff are lines that gives you ideas, right? But there is some method to the madness, you know, behind it and all that stuff. It gives you a little more, you know, some guidelines to see where you're going. But when you have like actionable triggers, like an inside day to the downside, you know, certainly that 183 is going to be possible, right? But look and see if you get some momentum. Futures are pointing up and you break to the upside. Then you can get to 198. I mean, maybe even 200, maybe even fill a gap. I mean, so we just got to see what it does tomorrow, see what they give us. I am overall still bearish on the market. Just Elliott wave wise. If this was the beginning, this high, you know, the market high, was the beginning of a wave, right? Because it, you know, it did represent an extreme. We have a down 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yeah, I mean, we could be the start of an upside, or we could be the start of a downside as well. This could be 1, 2, 3, and that couldn't be 4. But still possible that we're at, you know, we've got a kind of a mini, you know, kind of double top here, and that we're still in the beginning of a wave 3 down. So, you know, basically, this could have been corrective, like 1, 2, and it was like A, B, C, and then, anyway, I'm still learning the Elliott wave, but I'm still very, very bearish. So, just given the way the market is. But today, I mean, could have been a game changer, right? And we could see there's such thing as a year-end rally, and we could see going up all the way through January. We could see possibly a test of the highs too. So like you said, Carl, we just gotta watch the, you know, just gotta watch the price action. Hey, what's going on, Don? You know what? I haven't decided yet. I guess I could. Let me see what I'm doing tomorrow. Make it tentative. Sometimes I trade with one of my good friends when I'm at home. Like we hook up on, Google Hangouts, or we just talk things out and all that stuff. But I think it would be pretty cool to do a live, kind of trade live, just so kind of people can see what I'm looking at. And if that's the case, I won't have it on like running all day, but I might run it like for 30 minutes at the open, or 45 minutes or something like that, and just kind of see what I'm looking at. And then, or just like kind of come on at like key hours, like at the 11:30 time, and just be like, hey guys, I'm looking at this, or blah blah blah, or 1:30, something like that. So yeah, so I might do that tomorrow too. Just make it tentative though, because might get caught up, doing all that stuff. But I think that'd be fun. Just kind of so we can kind of look and see how, how I look at trading off of the game plan. So, great question, man. Yeah, I'll try to do that tomorrow at the open. I think it's worth it, so we can kind of talk about, we can kind of see. I've never actually traded while recording. It'd be fun. Yeah, so we can actually see together. I can kind of show you, like what price looks like and how I'm seeing it, where the momentum's coming, where the velocity's coming in. Yeah, because I definitely want to see Sono. I want to look at trading that to the upside, and I want to look at trading Williams Sonoma to the downside at the open. And then I've got a couple other ones I want to look at during the day. Gosh, I wish I could trade them all, but we just don't have time and all that stuff, or the function. I'm not an algorithm. I'm not an algo box. So yeah, I'll try to do it at the open, man. Okay. In fact, I'll post it. I'll say that I'm gonna do that. That'll be good. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time tonight, and we will catch you tomorrow for a great trading day. And if you're online, I will see you in the morning for a live stream at the open. All right, guys. Have a great night.